Hey folks, welcome back to another Poem Master video, and today we're gonna do what we usually do with these new units. Again, like I mentioned before, this is not anything. This is not a useful video, right? This doesn't really do much. It's just for pure entertainment value, right? Doesn't mean you should summon based on this video or whatever, right? Because there are a lot of other things to consider outside of just which unit is the best, right, in terms of spending your resources and all that. But regardless, still fun to do this anyways, right? So we're gonna rank all these units, the new ones, and wow, there's a lot of them this month, right? So better get into this right now then, I guess. So yeah, this month we got let's see how many, 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. Oh, okay, I got 10 over here. So how should we do this? I guess we'll just go from bottom up, right? The overall pretty much consensus weakest unit this month is Rachel, unfortunately. She just doesn't really do anything that's really super useful for your team. She has one very big healing move that has a few big downsides, even though it does like almost everything. First of all, it's only 1 MP. Second of all, it only targets 1 unit, right? So that not very fun, right? You'd have the team heal over here at 30% chance every time you get hit, but this heals like nothing, basically. And then the other knock against her is her defensive stats are just not that good to be a consistent tank, right? So like if you are running her like on a team, if you want to use her potions, most likely you will be using that potion on yourself, right? If you are tanking with her. And then she does have XP at all, which is good, right? XP at all is always good to trigger some, offensive skills or just for the speed in general, right? And you have 1 gauge spam ball with tackle and then snarl to debuff the opponent's special attack, right? But the rest of her kit is just not too great, unfortunately, right? At least not in this meta at the moment. So it's pretty clear where she is over there. Next one is probably Entei, unfortunately. The new BP master pair, whatever, master sync pair, I think, master passive sync pair. What's the official name for these things? Anyways, she's not very great either, unfortunately. She's just basically a Morty that has a master passive, basically. She's a Morty that has a master passive, and then her master passive isn't even that great. I know, oh my god, it's fire type, but like, even though it's a fire type master passive, what fire type teams do you think you could fit her on? There's just much better units to run on. They're much more powerful units to run on a fire type team than her, right? You run Groudon, not that he's fire type, but he gives you sun, right? And a much better master passive. There's Leon, there's Red, there's Ho-Oh, right? Meganium, all these you much better run on sun teams. And yeah, you like, she might, like, Rachel even has some stuff over her, like for example, at least Rachel has XP at all, which is nice. She doesn't even have that. She has like defense, like this is just like a Morty without as good burst heals, right? Because she only has like gradual heals, although this is for the whole team and instead of Rachel's, which is only for 1 unit. But yeah, she is a better tank than Rachel, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. Rachel does have better heals though. Well, she does have Sacred Fire, which could burn the opponent. Team Fist Bump, Revenge Boost. Yeah, she's not that much better than Rachel. She does have the master passive, which is not terrible, but again, it's also not that great of a master passive either. Anyways, moving on. Next one is probably Sawyer, and Sawyer's really good, right? Sawyer's pretty solid. The only like big knock against Sawyer is the MP on his trainer move, right? Same thing with Rachel, except Sawyer's much more useful, right? This is not Sawyer. This is Absol. This is Sawyer. Only 1 MP on the trainer move. Alright, gives you move gauge acceleration, which is fantastic. Attack, special attack +2, which is great. And then defense, special defense +1, which is nice too. Again, if this had 2 MP, he would be much better. He also does need lock MP refresh on dire hit all to max out crit, but otherwise this is a very great offensive support, right? That could also give you some defense buffs as well, right? Over here and all that stuff. But yeah, he is the much better support over here, 4-star support. Overall, just gives you a lot of positive, upside value to your team in comparison to some of the other ones down there, right? Unfortunately. Moving on. Next one, probably Sydney. Sydney, now that I've looked at the calculations, Sydney's not as bad as I thought initially, because Sydney does have a pretty good sync nuke, right? Absol does have his sync nuke's actually really good. It's only a bit lower than Incineroar's, and Incineroar's is really good, right? I don't think he's as good as Incineroar, because Incineroar gives you full team speed buffs, which is fantastic, and this is just for himself. He does have potions, but speed buffs are just much more useful overall, right? Yeah, he just has a big sync nuke. He does absolutely no damage on these two moves. Don't get fooled by the, crit strike 3, crit strike 5 on these moves. No, it does no damage. Absolutely no damage. It's just a really big sync. It's like Incineroar. Just think Incineroar, but worse, right? Basically, and that's Absol. And it's not terrible, but it's also not anything crazy either, right? So that's Absol, I guess. Moving on next. I'm a bit split on this. It's either Phoebe or Hop. Both of them are not amazing, but both of them also have really great upsides as well. I don't know. I think I want to go with Hop, because here's the thing. Hop has the better kit. Hop's kit is just straight up better, right? Hop's kit is just straight up better than Phoebe's. Because Hop, you have what? You have, okay, other than you do need an NPR to max crit, right? That's for sure. And max out attack as well. Well, Phoebe, you don't need that. But you just get better stuff. You get potions. You're much faster, right? Much faster than Phoebe. Get a 1-gauge spam here. You get Behemoth impossible to pronounce. Behemoth Bash, which does a really respectable amounts of damage once the opponent synced. I think it does more than Steven Metagross's Iron Head, right? After the opponent syncs again, right? And then you have like healthy benefits, which helps you tank. Free revenge, 50% chance of free move next for yourself, right? You have defense buffs, healthy healing, just really great stuff, right? Really great stuff over here. And yeah, he's just better than Phoebe in terms of base kit. What Phoebe does have over Zamazenta is that Phoebe does have a support EX, right? Which is very good. Phoebe does have support EX, and Phoebe doesn't need MP refresh to max out all those stats. And then Phoebe is also Hoenn, and the only Hoenn support to reliably max crit buffs, right? Which the reason why Hoenn is relevant is because you can run them with the most broken units in the game, Groudon, Kyogre, right? In Phoebe's case, more so Groudon, right? So, and which triggers their master passive, right? Which is obviously very powerful. But yeah, I mean, both are good. Both are good. Both aren't amazing, but both are good for sure, right? They're definitely in that range. Anyways, moving on. Next is probably Faulkner. Faulkner has a really nice kit. It is a really nice kit. Again, the fly 2-turn thing kind of sucks, but you do get a lot of things back at the cost of that, right? Like you have Ridicure 4 over here, Fail Forward, a group Slapdash, right? There are other things, Group Gloat, Group Spectacle. Not that this is super important, but it's something. And then, like, even if you take away all that, even if you straight up just take away the fly stuff, it's still a solid unit, right? Very fast. Good HP, good defenses, right? And then you have max crit buffs over here, and then Soar, which gives you +2 for both attack, special attack, and then +1 speed, which again does have MPR2, right? So you could definitely max out those stats, right? If you're lucky. It's just a solid unit, right? Really solid unit with good stats in comparison to something like it's like what Sawyer wished it was, kind of, right? Right, just a much more reliable Sawyer, which a much more reliable Sawyer is amazing, right? Is amazing. So here we are. Anyways, next probably gonna be Leon. There are still question marks about Leon that aren't answered yet, which is does the multipliers, right? Does all these multipliers that Leon has, right? Whether it be ramming speed over here, Hunter's Instinct, all that stuff, Power Flux. Do these multipliers work on the thing, right? Does it work on the max move is the issue, right? And we don't know that yet, right? Because like if it does, and you pick up that +100 over there, you're getting a 580 base power move with potentially what? Even if you don't pick up Power Flux, that's what, an extra 60% multiplier on that? What is that? Or plus crit too at 1.8 times. 1.8 times 580. That's 1,044. And then times his, whatever his special attack is at. 370. It's gonna be higher than that, obviously, with grid nodes. That's gonna be insane. Very high, right? That's an easy, even without a sync buff, that's an easy million. But again, we don't know that. We don't know if it applies or not. If it doesn't apply, then it's just okay, right? It's not anything crazy. It's still good, and that's why he's up here, but it's not anything crazy, right? So again, we'll have to see how that goes, right? We'll have to see how that goes. In terms of anything else on his kit, I mean, it's pretty standard. Just maxed out his own stats, which are, is what it is. Everything else is like stuff like Lucky 7 for max damage card. They look nice when you look at it, but then when you think about it, it doesn't really matter that much, right? Doesn't make that much of a difference overall in his kit. Nurse is good, right? Yeah, he's in a weird spot again. It really just depends on if those multiply into his moves. If it doesn't, he's just okay, right? If it does, then he's gonna be fantastic. So moving on, I actually got Sabrina, and then that means Lear's next here, right? Sabrina is just Sabrina, right? She is the quintessential special attack buffer, right? She maxed out your special attack, while also having heals and accuracy buffs, right? Then you have max crit buffs at 2 out of 5, and then you have speed buffs at 3 out of 5 on top of physical damage reduction, right? And then now that she got an EX, she's going to be even better. A lot of people say, oh, her EX, you don't want to sync with her because then you'll lose 2 gauge side beam. No, you want to sync with her, right? Because first of all, you get support EX, which is extremely valuable, and then you get Psychic instead of Psybeam, which does much more damage, because Sabrina's damage is very good, right? Her damage is very good on the side, right? Assuming you get like a 6th Sense MPR or whatever, right? On the teams that you're running, depending on which team you're running her on. And she also gets a lot of speed buffs, which that then gets multiplied into the speed multipliers from Pep Rally, right? The speed buffs. So you're benefiting way much more than just keeping the side beam, right? Her EX is really good in that sense, and on top of that, she's just just a great unit, right? I mean, yeah, like the stuff that you get from EX, like Crit Strike 2, Recuperation, right? Those are all great things. And then you also have stuff like, or you could ramp up if you want as well. And you're just a really, really good, look at this, like, monster special defensive stat, right? Special defense tank, not that great physically, but you do have reflect to make up for it, right? And help you, like, she's a do everything special support, right? And then Lear's over here. Lear is probably, Lear's a top 5 unit in the game. Lear's a top 5 unit in the game, straight up. I didn't think about that before. And I might change my mind after I actually think about that, because that took me no thought. But when you look at him, when you look at this kit, right? His regular move hits insanely hard, harder than Mewtwo, right? Which is already really, really hard. Has the second highest sync in the game, right? Right after Marnie's super effective up sync. Second highest sync in the game. Incredibly hard hitting regular move, right? On top of that, you could take away opponent's stats, which is, which is nice, I guess. And then most importantly, you get sync move countdown. You shave off 2 straight turns. You shave off 2 straight rounds easily, right? It's not guaranteed because you do need like 1 propulsion proc, but it's 30% or 10% chance for that procking in like, and you have like 5 turns for that to happen, right? So I'd say it's pretty likely. And yeah, he's just amazing. Pretty fast as well overall, right? Yeah, it's just the ability to guarantee. Even though you could do this before by quad queuing, but like there are just some scenarios where you just can't quad queue, right? With like the weather is ending or whatever, right? Certain scenarios. This you guarantee you get a second sync in before your opponent even gets 1 sync in, which is a lot of damage. And you can still like quad queue with like Lear on your team, and you get like action moves, like post second sync moves in there against the opponent, which makes it basically impossible for you to like, so far with all the stages available right now, I don't think it's possible for you to lose against anything, right? With a complete Lear, Hoopa team with like Bianca, Sabrina, right? You just output way too much damage before the opponent even gets to use their sync move, right? There's just way too much damage being outputted, and yeah, it's just amazing, just amazing. Yeah. I mean, like, straight up as like a damage dealer, right? Probably better than Groudon Kyogre. Obviously, Groudon Kyogre have insane, other things that they do, right? Bringing the weather, extending weather, their master passives. But like in terms of like dealing damage, this is like Groudon, this is like Marnie level, right? This is Marnie level on top of, again, just cutting off sync move countdowns. I don't even know if the anniversary unit's going to be as strong as this guy. I don't even know if the anniversary unit's going to be as strong as this guy. I'm hoping it would be, because, I mean, it is the anniversary. You better make something better than this guy, right? But, like, it's very, very hard to top how good Lear is. It's very, very hard to top how good Lear is, so... yeah, anyways, that's this one, I guess. Hope y'all enjoy. Let me guys think in the comments down below. You guys could argue amongst yourselves, right? Which is always fun. Such not fun at all. But have fun, folks. Enjoy the rest of your night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow then.